a forbidden dance that calls upon spirits. Watch at your own risk. There are some things in this world that should remain hidden. Ancient powers that sleep beneath the soil of Africa, waiting. I am about to share with you a story that few have lived to tell. A warning about a forbidden dance that opens doorways between worlds. The elders of my village speak in whispers of the Kuomboka ritual. They say those who perform it without permission of the ancestors invite spirits to take residence in their souls. Many have tried out of curiosity. Few have returned unchanged. Before you continue watching, know this: the images and sounds in this video were documented during real events in a remote village. Some viewers have reported strange occurrences after watching. Unexplained noises, shadows moving at the corner of their eyes. If at any point you feel a cold presence or hear whispers from empty rooms, turn this video off immediately. You have been warned. This is the story of Jabari, a young man who didn't believe until it was too late. Jabari was born in the village of Makand, deep in the heartland where ancient traditions still hold power. As a child, he was different, asking questions the elders wouldn't answer, venturing to places children were forbidden to go. Why do we fear what we don't understand? Jabari once asked a group of elders. Our ancestors danced to bring rain, to celebrate harvest. What power could be so dangerous we cannot speak its name? Elder Kofi responded sternly, some doors, once opened, cannot be closed again. Jabari, the Kuomboka is not for the curious. It is not for entertainment. It calls those who dwell in shadow. Stories to keep us afraid. Jabari dismissed. I've studied at university. The world has changed. The old powers have not, Elder Kofi warned. But Jabari's curiosity only grew stronger. His grandmother had been a keeper of stories, and before she died, she had whispered to him about a hidden grove where the most powerful rituals were once performed. The circle of echoes lies beyond the 3 baobabs that stand like sisters. She had told him as a child. But promise me, child, promise you will never go there when the moon is full. Some promises are made to be broken. That very night, with the full moon rising, Jabari packed a small bag, a notebook for his observations, a camera to document what he was sure would be nothing more than interesting cultural anthropology. How wrong he was. The forest paths seemed to shift around him. Birds fell silent. Even insects ceased their evening chorus as he approached the 3 baobab trees his grandmother had described. Just old trees. Just a clearing, Jabari reassured himself, breathing heavily. There's nothing to fear from shadows and superstition. The circle of echoes. For centuries, the most sacred and dangerous rituals were performed here, where the veil between worlds grows thin during the full moon. Day 1 of my research into the Kuomboka ritual, Jabari spoke to his camera. According to local legends, this clearing amplifies spiritual energies. I'll begin by replicating the basic steps I've documented from historical accounts. What Jabari didn't understand was that the figurines he'd found in his grandmother's chest were not decorative. They were guardians, meant to protect those who dared to dance. Now for the rhythm, he said, setting up a small drum. The Kuomboka begins slowly. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Arms raised to the moon, then swept down to the earth. A bridge between sky and soil, between life and death. I feel nothing but the exercise, Jabari told his camera with a smile. No spirits, no danger. Just the wind suddenly picked up, swirling leaves around the clearing. That was the moment. The exact moment when Jabari should have stopped, packed his things, and run back to the village. But curiosity is a powerful force. The air, it feels different, Jabari noticed. Breathing heavily, heavy, like before a storm. The dance knows when it has found a willing vessel. It begins to lead rather than follow. For hours, Jabari danced. Later, when we found his camera, we watched in horror as the footage showed what he could not see in his trance. They came from the spaces between things, from the dark between stars, from the silence between heartbeats. I feel you. I hear you. Jabari spoke in a voice not entirely his own. The doorway opens. The circle of echoes answered his call. Ancient symbols appeared in the soil, burning with cold fire. Symbols no human hand had drawn. What came through first were the voices. Hundreds of them, speaking in languages lost to time, asking questions, making demands, offering knowledge at terrible prices. I see now. I understand. Jabari cried, laughing and crying simultaneously. They've always been here, watching, waiting. Then they began to take physical form, drawn by the dance, hungry for connection to our world. The spirits of the in-between. Dancer, you have called us without the proper rites. Spirit spoke, its voice echoing unnaturally, without protection. Your soul shines like a beacon. Jabari stopped dancing, suddenly afraid. I didn't. I was only researching. Knowledge has a price. Seeker, the spirit replied, reaching toward him with elongated fingers. You open the door. Something must pass through. The circle of echoes is a perfect prison once the spirits arrive. It expands and contracts, making escape impossible. Stay out. Stay away from me. Jabari screamed, falling to his knees and clutching his head. What happens next on the footage is why many who have seen this video cannot sleep afterward. The merging of flesh and shadow, the transformation that cannot be unseen. When the camera cleared again, Jabari stood motionless in the center of the circle. But it was not only Jabari who stood there. The vessel accepts us, not Jabari said, smiling with too many teeth. We will walk again among the living. When Jabari didn't return by morning, his family grew worried. By the second day, the entire village organized search parties. Elder Kofi led them straight to the circle of echoes. Look, the dance was performed here. Recently, Elder Kofi said, pointing to the ground, his camera? A villager exclaimed. But where is Jabari? That depends on how much of him is left. Elder Kofi replied grimly. They watched the recovered footage in silence, horror growing with each frame, until they saw what Jabari had become. Turn it off. Elder Kofi stood abruptly. Secure your homes tonight. What walks in Jabari's skin must not be welcomed. But it was already too late, because something had followed the search party back from the circle. They fear us still. Not, Jabari said from the edge of the forest, a voice layered with many others. After all these centuries, but we are patient. We have a vessel now, and the vessel remembers every home, every path, every weakness in their defenses. Jabari, is that you? A child asked, waking to see a figure standing at the foot of the bed. The figure smiled too widely, eyes reflecting in darkness. You scared me. Where have you been? Everyone's been. A woman drawing water from a well turned to find not Jabari standing behind her. She stopped, seeing his expression. You're not Jabari. She backed away. We know what you are, spirit. Elder Kofi confronted not Jabari in the village center, holding up a protective amulet. Release the boy. The boy invited us, not Jabari laughed. The dance was performed. The price must be paid. The villagers gathered at dawn, many showing signs of fear and sleeplessness. The spirits he called have taken root. Elder Kofi announced, there is only one way to free him and protect our village. There must be another way. Jabari's mother pleaded tearfully. He's still my son. Part of him remains, Elder Kofi acknowledged. But that part is prisoner to what he invited in. We must perform the cleansing dance. But that hasn't been done in generations. A villager objected. Who among us knows the steps? Elder Kofi looked grim. I do. because I once made the same mistake as Jabari. The cleansing dance is the counter to the Kuomboka. Where one opens doors, the other closes them. Where one invites, the other banishes. But it requires the one thing Jabari had ignored: respect for the spirit world. The dance must be perfect. Elder Kofi instructed the younger villagers. One misstep, and we risk more than just Jabari's soul. They waited until sunset, when not Jabari returned to the village. The spirits within him sensed the trap immediately. You cannot undo what has been done. Not Jabari shouted, voice distorted. We have been invited. An invitation can be rescinded. Elder Kofi stepped forward. The dance can be unmade. The cleansing dance begins with unity. Where the Kuomboka is performed alone, its counter requires community. The strength of many souls against the invading spirits. Stop. Not Jabari writhed in the center of the circle, speaking in multiple voices. You don't understand what you're rejecting. We bring knowledge, power. Knowledge without wisdom destroys, Elder Kofi replied while dancing. Power without responsibility corrupts. For hours they danced, their movements creating invisible walls, forcing the spirits back through the doorway Jabari had opened. Release him, Elder Kofi commanded, placing hands on not Jabari's head. Return to your world. The dance commands you. We will return. Not Jabari screamed in multiple voices, body arching backward unnaturally. Curious always call us back. What happened next was captured by only one camera, a village elder's son who documented the ritual. Against the warnings, the spirits fought to maintain their hold, but the cleansing dance severed their connection to our world. I remember everything, Jabari said the next morning, voice hoarse. I was still there, watching, unable to stop them. The curious mind is a gift and a danger, Jabari, Elder Kofi told him. Now you understand why some knowledge comes with warnings. Jabari nodded solemnly. They're still there on the other side, waiting, watching. Jabari never danced again. The village destroyed all records of the Kuomboka steps. All except one. This video you're watching now. Some say just hearing the rhythm, seeing the movements, plants a seed of curiosity, a desire to try the dance yourself. If you've watched this far, you may already feel it. A subtle pull, a whisper suggesting you try just a few steps. That nothing bad will happen to you. If you feel this urge, turn off this video immediately. Delete it from your history. Never speak of what you've seen, because they're listening through your speakers right now. They're watching through your screen, and they remember everyone who's learned their dance. Some viewers report hearing drumbeats for days afterward. Others see tall figures at the foot of their bed. If this happens, do not dance, no matter how strong the urge becomes. I must go now. They still search for me. Remember my warning. Don't dance.